Hey everybody, I am back from my trip, and as you might notice, I stopped at a couple greenhouses along the way, and I picked out plants that I either thought were excellent specimens, but also I found some varieties that I wanted to put head to head against some of the proven winners like Supertunias and things like that. So I'm going to plant up some of those and show you how I'm going to strategize with that. And then I wanted to show you some of these plants, like these begonias and these geraniums were grown by a greenhouse in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. I think it's called Hartman's. Let me double check. Yeah. They are masters at especially those two plants because they're incredible. Like this is, I think it's a Riger begonia, the Nicole Stone. I mean, this is an incredible basket. There's 5 plants in here. I think it's 10 inches. Unbelievable. And they just had hundreds of them growing like this in all the different colors. It was extraordinary. This one here is the Blitz, which is a beautiful yellow color. And then this geranium, I have never seen a geranium with, I mean, these are like stems like what you'd have for a cut flower, like better than most cut flowers. Like this is better than most dahlia stems. But this one is the Mantra Pink. And we were growing the Mantra Magenta this year just as a test to see how it will do. Seeing it like this makes me think this is a variety you want to keep growing. These flower umbels are absolutely huge. The stems just, they extend so far above the plant, and the leaves are a beautiful dark green color. They're growing them great, and it's a great variety as well. And they did, I could tell they were picking really good varieties of plants as well. So I'm super excited just to show you those, and I'm in awe. I showed these to my sister Stacy, and she was just like, I want to know everything they do. I want to know every secret they have because it's incredible. I do know that they work from cuttings, so they're actually like sticking the cuttings, whereas we would get plugs in, so we would get them a little farther along in the process. She said they start right after Christmas with them. I had lots of questions, but I still don't know that I would ever be able to grow begonias this good, but I'm never going to say never, because I bet if we really put our mind to it, we can get to this. But we're not going to start doing cuttings because we can't start the furnaces that early. We just can't pull that off right now. But anyway, I wanted to tell you about a couple other varieties that I picked up while I was there. I also got some of the Glimmer double begonias. This one's, it's looking a little tired right now. It made a pretty big trip, but I got this one because I wanted to compare it directly against the proven winners variety that I had gotten. So which one, what did I get? I can't remember the name. I'll put it on the screen. And I wanted to just see how they compare, because I had somebody comment, they said, well, I've grown both and the Glimmer has a little bit bigger flowers. So I do want to see how they compare. I've seen this one in the trial gardens and it's been a little hit and miss in the trial gardens, but I may have just been catching it at a bad time. So I'm very excited to see the Glimmer in action. This one's the burgundy. They have several colors, but this is the one that I chose. What else can I show you? I also wanted to get this particular geranium. It's a kind of a novelty geranium. It's called Starry Pure White. And I know it's one that we can get. Just has a little bit different flower head on it, and it's very attractive, but I wanted to see how it did, because sometimes the white geraniums, you know, they can either the flowers turn brown or they're short-lived flowers. This one seems like it might actually be one that's going to hold up really well. So we're just going to try it because it may be one that we want to carry. I also found, this was in Mackinac City, I found this Coleus. This one here is the Stained Glass Works Luminance or something like that. Just a really nice pink one. And there's, you know, there are a couple really great pink ones out there, but I want to grow this one and see how it does. When I was there, I also got the Trailblazer Road Trip. And so this is more of a trailing begonia. We had the Burgundy Wedding Train last year, which is a similar variety. I just really like it, so I wanted to give it a go. What else did I get here? Oh, they also did have the tea purple green edge, which looks a lot like the Supertunia Picasso in purple, or the Petunia from, I think it's Cascadia's Petunia. I had seen these in the trial gardens. They seem to have a little bit different leaf growth. It seemed that way anyway, than the Petunia and the Picasso in purple. And Picasso in purple share a plant patent, so they're the same plant. This one may be different, but I want to see them side by side because I couldn't find a plant patent for this one, so I want to make sure, I want to see how it does. We ordered this one, but it got canceled on us. And then there were a couple other varieties that I just picked up. So I got some of the Bidens. So this is the Campfire Flame, and this one here is the Goldilocks Rocks. I tend to like Bidens, but they can be a little vigorous and kind of weedy almost in some of the containers. So sometimes we carry it, sometimes we don't. And I just want to see how these proven winners varieties do. I also got some of the Meteor Shower. It's a Verbena. This one grew it a while back and then we haven't grown it, and it's just a different growing type of verbena. It's more upright, has the little balls, puff balls up there. So one that we're considering. Do I have other things I want to show? Okay, so the other thing that I am going to do, and I'm going to plant these up, I also picked up these ColorRush petunias. So this is the ColorRush white, this one is the pink, and these are very vigorous varieties. They would be comparable to the Supertunia, Vista, like Bubblegum and Snowdrift. And so I wanted to see how these would compare, you know, if I put them head to head against those Supertunia Vistas. So these came in this size, and our Supertunia Vistas are in bigger containers and the plants are really big. So they would have had a really great advantage. But I managed to find in another place some smaller varieties. So they're in these smaller containers, and I'm going to be honest, I don't love getting my annuals, especially my petunias, in this size. I mean, they're fine. They're exact same plant as what would be in a bigger one, but I always find that in this size, sometimes the plants are just a little bit small or underdeveloped, or they're exactly the opposite. They get root bound really quick. So there's like a little bit of a window of time that you have, you know, that they're best in. They're still going to do fine, and I'm going to be able to manage if they're in either category, but these seem to be actually right where they need to be. But I'm more used to, you know, our petunias, which tend to be a little fuller, a little bigger, and in a little bit bigger pot. So I guess I'm just kind of spoiled with that, and I do really like kind of starting with that size. I think it comes from having our kind of colder winters and our shorter season. Any advantage I can give my plants, I think, kind of pays off for us in the end, because we'll get bigger plants and blooms earlier. So I'm going to put these into some containers. So let me clear this off, and then I'm going to plant them up, and I'm going to talk to you exactly what decisions I'm making when I'm planting those. So I'll start with the ColorRush series. So again, the ColorRush is a very vigorous type of petunia in that same category as the Supertunia Vista. The Vista is the really large one. Think vigor when you think of Vista. So this one here, I mean, the roots are to the edge. I don't really break up roots even when they're like this. I wouldn't consider this root bound. It's just kind of farther along. And this is a 14-inch pot, and I'm only putting 2 of these in. And I know a lot of people will tell you, like, oh, I always put 5 in a 12-inch or in a 14-inch, but these Supertunias, they really can take up the space if you give it to them. And a lot of times, if I've only put the 2 in, it fills out exactly the same as if I had put 3, 4, or 5 in there. So I'm just going to go for it and put only the 2 in. The only disadvantage with putting 2, especially when I have 2 different colors, a pink and a white, is it does look a little halvesies. They will grow into each other a little bit, but sometimes it doesn't quite play out so that they look like they're well balanced. So a lot of times I will just put 4 in just because I like them to grow evenly and fill out. In this case, I think we are going to, you know, have more of that halvesies type of thing going on, and that's going to be fine. I think especially if we want to see how they compare as far as growth. I don't know if the ColorRush Pink, how the color compares to the Supertunia Vista Bubblegum. It might be a little darker. The white, the color looks pretty similar. When we're looking at this moment, the flowers on the ColorRush white are much bigger than the Supertunia Snowdrift, Vista Snowdrift. But I do know that as this matures, those flowers tend to be pretty normal size. I'd say they might be pretty similar to what we see there. So let's go ahead and get this one in. And part of the reason why I don't really like this size too, and this comes out to, it should tell us, it is 1.42 pints, whereas like we're using the 1 quart. And other places will have a little bit smaller, the grande size, it's slightly under a quart. It just, you know, I like to just have that little bit of extra root development, but for the stage that these are at, that's fine. And that seems to be the trend with a lot of the plants that are growing on. Now this is a really nice root growing going on here. That seems to be a trend with a lot of the, like especially at the big box stores. Either you're going to get them in smaller containers, sometimes even smaller than this, or they're going to be like in a gallon size. And you know, and what's really bad is sometimes in the gallon size, they're the exact same plant. Like they just got put into a gallon size, but they're not actually more developed or larger than this. Now they might be down the road, like later on in the season, but this time of year, a lot of times they're not. So it's really tricky. And I will admit, I do get a little frustrated that a lot of times this size of container is the exact same price as if I was getting a quart size. So when you're looking at it from a price perspective, like I'm getting significantly less soil, a lot less root development in this plant, and a lot of times it costs about the same. And this Proven Winner cost me the same as what we charge for this. So we charge $6.99 for an annual, which I think a lot of people think that's, you know, really high. Other people think that's reasonable because in some parts of the country, this size, or maybe more the grande size, are selling for $11.99 and $12.99. So it really depends on your region. You might be in an area with a lot of competition, or certain types of markets out there where you might be able to get them for $4.99. So anytime you can find a Proven Winners Annual for under, say, $6.99, it's a pretty good deal. They are incredible plants, and I know there's a lot of debate out there about the Proven Winners and, are they worth it? But they are really good plants. But I'm going to try to show you that there are other good varieties out there too, so you're not locked in to, Supertunias aren't the only really vigorous, really floriferous petunias out there that are self-cleaning. These are also, kind of in that vein. And on that topic, I did order some varieties that I've never grown before because they're absolutely brand new, and they're a Supertunia. So let me show you those. So I did pick up 2 of these, and these are new for next year, but they were kind of doing had them on sale at Proven Winners Direct, kind of as an early bird type of thing. So this is the Supertunia Tiara series, which is brand new. So Tiara is, from what my understanding is, it's a very vigorous variety, but it is a lot more flat, say, than some of the other varieties. So it's much more of that trailing kind of action going on. The flowers are a little bit smaller from what I've heard as well. So this one says it gets 4 to 12 inches. I think it probably gets a little bigger. Let's see what else it tells us. So height, 4 to 12 inches tall, spacing 12 to 24. Whereas if I were to look at the regular Supertunia, yeah, you're looking at a bigger size on those. So they get more 12 to 24. So they get double the height, and then 18 to 32 inches spacing. So spacing is a little different than width, but you would want to keep these a little tighter. So I want to put these in a container as well, because I really want to see how they grow, and to see they're going to have 2 colors. So this one here, they're calling it blue, and I think the other one might be just called pink. And it looks like they're going to be a very beautiful variety. So I just wanted to really take advantage of that. Now this is the Eco Grande pot that Proven Winners makes. Let's see, remove the tabs. Sorry, I didn't read the instructions. And they claim that you can either just put it in like this, or you can pop it out like this, because this is a compostable pot. And so kind of interesting that you could throw it in your regular compost. You could bury it in your soil. It will break down. It probably won't break down in one season from what I've heard, but you could just pop it in the ground. It'll be fine. Now they do use a different kind of soil. It's very crumbly. It don't know if it might be peatless, or maybe it's full peat. I don't really know what it is, but it is. I remember from last year, it was kind of the same story, where it's just different. I don't necessarily love it, but it seems to do the job. Last year when my Proven Winners direct order came in, and I just ordered a couple plants from them just because I wanted to give them a go, they were a little bit in rough shape. And if you watch that video, you probably saw it, and I probably didn't give them a fair shake, because in the end, all of those plants did fantastic for me. They all bounced back. So that's nice to know that's the case. But yeah, you gotta, just so you know, when you're ordering online, they can look pretty beat up. So they might need some TLC. So you're going to want to make sure that, don't order them too early, because you don't want to have to try to take care of them indoors. If they come in rough shape and they're not getting enough sun, and you're not able to give them like airflow and stuff, they may struggle even more. So I like to kind of make sure, like, I have a greenhouse, so I'm very fortunate that I can keep them in that environment. If I was doing it at home, I probably would have waited until I was closer to my last frost date, or past my last frost date. Also, when I'm planting these, if I do want to mix in, I do want to plant these pretty close together. A lot of people are tempted to put them way to the edge, thinking that they're going to trail over. Don't worry with these vigorous varieties. They're going to trail over no matter where you put them in this pot. So putting them close together sometimes encourages them to kind of cross over to the other side a little bit. So I kind of like that. Anyway, I've got these 3 planted. I have some of my other plants I'm going to put together, but I will do probably a start to finish type of video on this one, where I'm going to show what it looks like as we go through the season. But right now I wanted to give you guys this little preview so you know what's coming up, and kind of my process in why I want to compare all these different varieties, because I do love knowing like what does well with what, and who plays nice. And I'm looking forward to seeing how the Glimmer compares to the Proven Winners double. And I think it was Maynard Greenhouses, they're on YouTube as well. They've given me a lot of comments that have been very, very helpful. So I want to give a shout out to them. So go ahead and look them up. They have some videos online as well. So very helpful. And I do appreciate everybody's comments. You guys have been fantastic. So I'm going to just leave it at this. I will be back. I've got lots of other stuff to plant and tell you about and show you. So it's been pretty crazy. So it's an exciting time to be in this business. So I will talk to you guys all very, very soon.